Hi, and welcome to the Code Lovers Academy. Now, in the Code Lovers Academy, we help you by creating tutorials that help you in your web development journey. And in this HTML series today, we want to specifically look at HTML tables. And as usual, we'll be using VS Code as our default code editor and Chrome as our default browser that we'll be using to preview our HTML code. So without wasting time, let's dive into it. So when you're working with, let me expand our HTML, let me expand our code editor so that we're able to see everything that we're working with. Let me just do that real quick. Okay. So when you're working with HTML tables, you need to know how do you create HTML tables. So to create an HTML table real quick, we will come here, we'll add a comment here and say tables. Under that comment, to create a HTML table, you use the table tag. So you type tab. Now under the table tag, you'll also create a table row, which is the tr. And under the table row, we'll have a table head. Now a table head, these are the headings for the table. So in this case, we'll be having a table head. The first header we shall have is name. The second one, we will have age. And the third one, we will have country. So that is our table head. When we preview this, in our Chrome editor, you realize our table has name, age, and country. Okay. We will also now go to another section and also include other table data. So we can create another table row, and this table row will have the first person, the first name in this list. We'll call it the table data, which is TD. Now we're giving the table data. The other one was the table head. Now we're giving the table data. Under this table head, under these headings, there will be data under them. So for the first, under the first heading, we'll have table data, which is the name is Anne. And the next one, we need to put Anne's age, which is another table data. And let's say Anne is 25 years old. And another table data for the country. Let's say Anne is from the US. Okay, when we preview this, we will see that, you see, under the name, we have Anne. Under the age, you have age of 25, the country, USA. We will look at another one. We will also have another student in this case, probably, if these are students we're working on. We'll have another table row and table data. Under the table data, we will have another person here is Lois. And table data, the age of Lois, let's say she's 30 years old. And table data, Lois is from Britain. Okay, we preview that. You see Lois at Britain. We'll add the last one here. And table data, we will have this person is Lillian. Another table data, Lillian probably 35. And another table data, Lillian is from France. When you preview that, you can see the name H, we have now Anne, Lois, and Lillian. And that's looking awesome. It's in a form of a table. It does not have any, it doesn't have any rulings that separate the things. And now we will include some bit of styling. We'll include some bit of styling on our table just to make it look a little bit good. So we'll come under the head element and we will have some bit of styles here to make it look a little bit good. So under the styles, maybe we could say we want to style the whole table. And styling the table, we'll give it a width of 100%. Now we want to stretch it so that it covers the whole viewport. That's 100%. And then we also have to give it a border. We won't give a border there. So we will also maybe have something like, we want to align this. So maybe we would say TH, give it a border. So on our table head and our table data, we'll give a border of 1 pixel and solid, and we give it black. So when we do that, our table gets these borders, okay? But we still have our heading and is not aligned well. You see this in the middle, and then the table data is aligned on the left, and this one is centered. So we want to also correct that. And then maybe we could also say, let's give it a padding so that it's a little bit farther away from the borders, and we could say we give it a padding of 10 pixels, and it gives us just a little bit of space to breathe. You know, these words now have a little bit of space to breathe. And then we also want to text align, and let's align everything to the left. Okay, so now everything is aligned to the left. Now that a bit looks organized. The other thing we could also say is that since we have given the border of 1 pixel for each, we could also say that we want to give a property called border collapse, and we could say collapse those borders. So now you find that our table is looking a bit organized. This is a bit of CSS, which we have not yet touched, but we needed to do that just to give it a little bit of styling so that it looks good to our eyes. But as we get into the CSS series, we'll be looking at the details of how we work with CSS. Okay, so that's it. Now we want to make this table a little bit. We want to make it look good, and in this case, when we could also like this table looks like this, but we don't know what is this table about. So we want to give it a heading. So instead of giving it maybe an H1, that like the way we're put here, like the way we're put an H1 here to say HTML tables, this is just a normal heading. But under the tables, there is a tag that is provided for if you want to give a table heading, and we have a tag called caption. So with caption, we can put it under the table and say this is student information. Maybe this is our student's information. When we enter that, you see it has given it that nice heading to the table and showing that this is student information. And we could also have some semantics on our table just to help with SEO. So, and that is, we want to separate this table into sections, and those sections could be like, what is the heading of this table? What is the body of this table? And the first one we could have here is that after our caption, we could say that there's a tag called like the T head. So under the T head, what is our heading? Our heading is the name, age, and country. So we could grab this tier, which has name, age, country. We can cut this and put it under the table head. So that means the table head consists of our name, age, and country. And the other, we could also say the T body. Under the T body, we have the first table row, which is that tier, and then we have this and this. There are three. So we could also cut all this, Control X, and put it under the T body. Once we have that, we could also include the D footer, like the footer for this table, something that summarizes what maybe this table was all about and something like that, something just maybe under the table. And we could have another semantic after the T body, which is like the T foot. So the T foot will describe the footer of this table. And in that case, we could give it table row. And under that, we'll have the table data. And under the table data, we would want this footer to span through all these columns of this table. So under that, we would give it an attribute of call span, and call span we will give it 3. So all the 3 columns, this footer will span through them and give it a footer. So we could say maybe the total students, maybe we want to give the number of students, and we say maybe equals to 3. So you could say it has spanned through all this and it has given us total students equals to 3. So basically that's how you work with HTML tables. Now we have that nice clean table that looks organized and also looks good and appealing like to your eyes. So that was basically HTML tables, and as you can see, it's not that difficult. Maybe on the other hand, we could also say we could also like a little bit format this. We could format this. We could format this and move it a bit further, like that, make our HTML look a little bit better. So that is how we work with HTML tables. The other thing that I wanted us to look at real quick, which is important, is something that I wanted us to look at real quick, which is also important to know when you're working with tables, is at times you want to specify to somebody maybe who is using a screen reader or something like that, like even when we have these semantics like the T head, the T body, you would also want someone to know that, okay, this is maybe a column, maybe this is a row. And how do you do that? Like some of the headings maybe needed to be in a row, some of the headings maybe they're in the column form. And then you just want someone to know that in this section, in this section of the header, we have the headings on the column. So that's also the way you can do it with the table heads. But I think that's something that we will look at in our next video when we're working on a real like project, and then we can also touch that. But thank you for sticking to the end, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and recommend this to someone else who would want to learn and get into their web development journey.